All right, I am Chief of Staff Troy Gay with the Austin Police Department. I'm here to provide a preliminary information regarding an officer-involved shooting that took place this afternoon. I'll go over a timeline and then I'll answer some questions at the end. I did want to say that I have members of both my executive staff as well as the command staff as well as the district attorney's office. The Office of Police Oversight is not here but has been briefed, as well as the city manager that usually attends. So I'll go ahead and go with the briefing. At 4:35 p.m. 911 received a call of a pedestrian in the roadway. So the incident actually took place here about in the 2100 block of Highway 183. As you know, this was right in the middle of rush hour traffic, so there was just a lot of traffic going on at that time. The first unit was assigned and en route at 4:36 p.m. While the officers en route, they were given information that the suspect was in the middle of the roadway. So as you can imagine, there was traffic going by and there was a subject right in the middle of the roadway. The first officer arrived at 4:37 p.m. He located the subject. He actually placed his vehicle in the middle of the roadway in order to block traffic because the suspect was still in the middle of the roadway. He appeared agitated and seemed to be very aggressive and was still in the roadway and wouldn't leave. The officer put out on the radio at 4:39 p.m. That the suspect had what he appeared to be a knife in his hand. The next unit arrived at 4:40. At that point, there were 3 officers on scene. The suspect aggressively started approaching one of the officers, which was the original officer on scene. That officer was backing up, giving commands to the subject to drop the knife. The suspect then continued towards several of the officers at that point, and then shots fired. The suspect went down on the ground, but was still conscious, was still moving around, and had a weapon, what appeared to be a knife in his hand. I'm gonna pause just for a second. Okay, I'll just repeat that real quick, is that the suspect went down, the suspect was still conscious, the suspect was talking to the officers, the officers were giving him commands to drop the knife. That went on for about 2 to 3 minutes, to where the officers knew that they needed to administer first aid, was trying to get the subject to drop the knife, but he refused. At that point, the suspect was tased by the 3rd officer that was on scene. They were able to get the suspect, after he was tased, to drop the knife, and then they immediately administered first aid to the suspect. At that point, EMS had already been called to the scene. They were able to then transport the suspect to the hospital, to where I will tell you right now that he is in stable condition at this time. I'm gonna pause one more time. Okay, that provides you a timeline of the incident. I would like to tell you the first officer that arrived on scene was actually leaving his work assignment, and he was headed southbound on 183. He was in a unmarked vehicle, but it was equipped with lights and sirens. This officer, although he was not in uniform, he was in a polo shirt that had a badge. He also had a badge and his handgun on his side, which was clearly marked and identifiable as an Austin police officer. The second unit that arrived shortly after was a 2-officer unit, and they were in the normal marked patrol unit as well as the normal APD standard uniform. Both of those officers were equipped with body-worn cameras. I will tell you that this incident was completely captured on their body-worn cameras. I will say that the first officer, because he was getting off and he was in a plainclothes assignment, did not have a body-worn camera on. It is good news the officers were not injured in any way. In reference to the two officers, they both had 11 years of service. The officer that fired the taser has 17 years of service. And as I mentioned, that the incident was captured on body-worn camera. I'm gonna pause just for a second. Sorry. As in standard protocol, the officers will be placed on administrative leave. And as standard protocol, that the Special Investigations Unit will be conducting the criminal investigation alongside the District Attorney's Office, as well as the administrative investigation will be conducted by the Internal Affairs Unit alongside and oversight with the Police Oversight Office. That is all that I have, other than I will make one statement, is that, as you are aware, is that our department just pushed out under Chief Chacon the new policy that this incident will be hopefully released within the next 10 days, and that is our goal, and hopefully this will be the first incident that will do that. And at this point, I'll go ahead and take questions.
Did the first officer have a taser on them as well, or just their firearm badge?
Just his firearm badge. It's still early in the investigation. I do know that it was anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5.
Nobody died as of right now.
Correct, sir.
Is there anything that you can share of what police did so that this to keep everybody alive in this instance, or what maybe perhaps de-escalation tactics were used in this moment?
Well, in this incident, as I said, we were right in the middle of a roadway, a highway speed roadway. I'm gonna pause just for a second, sorry. So we were right in the middle of a highway speed roadway. The officers attempted, I can tell you that the officer that I witnessed on the body-worn camera got out of the vehicle. They attempted to get the suspect out of the roadway. I can tell you that the suspect just came towards the officer. He continued to de-escalate. He moved back about up to 10 to 15 feet in order to try to de-escalate to get the suspect to stop his aggressive behavior. As I said, we're still in a preliminary investigation at this point.
How many rounds?
Like I said, we're not sure. I said anywhere between up to five shots potentially.
You said that the subject was showing some sort of signs of distress. I mean, any idea on exactly what that was, or what happened there?
As I said, it's still preliminary. The suspect's in stable condition. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to talk to him at some point. But as I said, he's in the middle of the roadway at rush hour traffic and is refusing to get out of the roadway. For the safety of our officers, the citizens, it was imperative to try to get the suspect out of the roadway.
Did the suspect say anything during that interaction when the officer was trying to get them off the roadway?
He was talking to, but like I said, it's preliminary, and like I said, hopefully we'll put out the video soon and you'll be able to hear all the information on the video soon.
Do we know where he was coming from, where he was going?
No, sir, we do not.
Has APD had any previous experience with this person?
We have checked his involvement. There is some, but like I said, at this point, it's very preliminary.
They wanted me to ask one more question. Can you clarify that the officer who fired the shots did not wear a body cam?
There was one of the officers that fired that did not have a body-worn camera, and one of the officers that was on duty at that point did.
Was there any discussion about firing the taser first?
I can tell you I watched the incident unfolded very, very quickly. By the time that the two officers arrived and they were giving commands, immediately the subject was coming towards the officers. Like you said, they attempted to de-escalate, but it all happened within like a very short period of time.
Can you detail the size of the knife and if it was a threat to the officers?
Well, I would say we'll give more information on the knife when, like I said, we couldn't go into the crime scene. I did see that there was a knife there on the scene, as well as I saw on the body-worn camera. So I would say any knife is a deadly weapon, no matter what size. But yes, there was a knife on the scene.
Sorry, did the suspect have a vehicle too, or no, just walking?
We believe that he was just walking, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you
How
very
much
much.
longer for the road to
Appreciate
be
it.
closed? How much longer for the road?
We're not sure, sir. Thank you.